actually, speaking of immersion programs and the kind of trainings we offer, I'm with my colleagues right now in here training a group of participants from all over the world. And basically it has a lot of similarities to what we would like to bring to the international law in partnership with Sigmund Freud University in Vienna. And it will be the first time that UNITAR will be conducting one of these immersion programs, part of a master's program in Vienna, which also has many, many UN entities and international organizations that are very relevant to this field. And the kinds of experience you can expect from this is ultimately one where you interact hands-on with participants who have similar, of course, interests as you, who have a passion for international law, and who would like to get more practical skills out of it to be used into the workforce later on. So for example, top skills that we try to emphasize in these trainings is, for example, public speaking, negotiation skills, mediation skills, how to conduct communication in international settings with different cultures, different behaviorism and whatnot. And along those lines, you get these experiences from UN staff and experts who have been part of the system for more than 15 to 20 years in the past, and who are happy and eager to share that experience with all of you into simulations or lecture style. We try to keep it as interactive as possible to make sure it's a worthwhile experience that really stays with you for a very long time afterwards. And aside from that, having this kind of experience with UNITAR in general, it's a great head start, like my colleague Christina mentioned, within the UN system, if you're interested to build a career in that direction. Of course, it's important to keep in mind that it's not a guarantee. It's ultimately up to you to use that experience and to use your diploma down the road and to update your CV and keep applying to eventually land a job. But ultimately, this definitely gives you a head start, because you definitely will be making contacts within the UN system through this experience. You will be gaining skills that are very important to have in any of these international organizations or even NGOs if you're interested into that kind of work. The training program would be lasting from, I believe, the 2nd of October until the 6th of October. And the master will also be containing 5 UNITAR modules. It would be one per month from October, in November, in December, in March, and in April, which each contain 2 to 4 full days with UN experts who are traveling to Vienna to train you directly. And with that said, I'm open to answer any other questions you may have about these immersion programs. Currently, we already have experience in implementing them in Geneva and also The Hague, the city of international justice. And we're very excited to continue expanding our trainings in Vienna. So thank you for that. Passing the floor back to you, Christina.
Thank you so much, Michael, for that. Would you mind advancing the slide, Ralph or Michael? Thank you so much. So now we want to spend some time going over the benefits of Vienna. It's an amazing city with a lot of history, a lot of opportunity for culture. It's a great place to live and to study. So with that, I'm going to turn it back over to Ralph, who is from Vienna and can provide more insight into Vienna as a city.
Yeah, so being born and raised in Vienna, I'm very, very happy to talk about my city a bit. This picture that you can see here, this is actually where the program, where I'm usually located. So this is when you go outside of the university, turn right for about 50 meters, that's where you are. So this is the so-called Pratallee. Right next to it is the biggest beer garden in the town of Schweizers, where you get excellent beer and also other refreshments, obviously. So this is just one example. So if you want to set yourself or imagine yourself studying in Vienna, this is where, after having studied, if you want to go jogging or do other sports or just sit on the left of the picture, you can see just sit somewhere in the grass. This is the place to be. This is what you can find directly outside of the university. So, and it's also the one where I always feel like, okay, this is, the Viennese have the character or are being often described as people who constantly whine. So they're constantly in a bad mood and complain about everything. And then at the same time, you constantly hear that your place has won another achievement of you're in the top 5 the best places to live or whatever, and at the same time we're constantly whining. So we're whining at a very, very high level, in other words. Yeah, and this is a picture, last but not least, in this connection, from the university itself. So the building on the right, yes, we sometimes call it the golden cage. This is where the university is. On the left side, you have the campus of the University of Economics. On the opposite side, you have another building of the Sigmund Freud Private University. And if you go on this picture, imagine yourself like the one on the top, on the bottom left, the one person is perhaps jogging to where you could see it earlier, to the Prater Hauptallee. So this is a very lively city. Although we're constantly whining, I can now say and safely say this is also, it's part of our character. I just can't help it. It's like you have this internal urge to complain, but at the same time, when thinking about it and reading headlines like this is the place where you really want to be. This is a place where I can imagine also being an Erasmus. What I also know from Erasmus students and other international students that I've taught over the last 10 years, they really loved studying here. There are so many cultural activities. You have a good combination of, on the one hand, the big city experience, while at the same time, however, you have nature directly in the city center with the whole Prater area and all of that. Yeah, asking also, Anna or Berivan, do you want to also join my applause for the city where we live in and to convince people that it really makes sense to come here? Is there anything you want to add? Because you're not originally from Vienna, but you moved here and you stayed here, so there must be a reason.
That's true, yes. I moved here 5 years ago and I never want to go back. I'm actually from a very nice place in Germany. It's a small town called Lindau, which is in the middle of the Lake of Constance. But Vienna is just something different. It's really amazing to be here. And yeah, like I said, I never want to move back to my hometown. Or maybe you should have mentioned the amount of museums you can visit here in Vienna. That's something very, very impressive.
There are 1 or 2 museums, yes, and we have a lot of Klimt. If someone is a fan of Klimt, you will find Klimt everywhere and Mozart everywhere. So all the cliches are really being fulfilled. Yeah.